let's get started making some of my favorite Rosh Hashanah food, and that would be the potato knish. Now, this dough is the same dough as the dough we used for the pierogan, only like the pierogan, we're pulling pieces and making sort of a circle to put the meat in the middle of. Here we're going to make a semi-rectangle of sorts. And like the pierogan, you want to roll the dough out fairly thin so that once you start rolling, you are not just getting a mouthful of dough when you bite into your potato knish. Okay, so this is probably good. It's not a perfect science, so for those of you who are a little anal about some of this, don't worry about it. It doesn't have to be exact. What I'm going to do, here's our potatoes. I boiled and mashed 5 pounds of potatoes and fried up a large onion, mixed those pieces, chopped up, mixed that in with the salt and pepper. This is easy. You can taste it and make sure it has enough flavor. So I'm going to take a scoop of the potatoes and I'm going to lay that scoop down and I'm going to spread it across. So I'm going to take multiple scoops of potato and lay it across. It's a little messy, because you're basically handling all the potatoes. I'm sure there's a neater restaurant way to do this, but I'm doing it the way Bubby Libby always did it. So we're going to take those potatoes all the way across. I did this with the pierogan as well. Doesn't stick together as well, so you have to be a little more careful. Okay. So we've got our potatoes. I'm going to take the ends and fold the ends up. There's one end and the second end. And then I'm going to take it from the back and fold it. Let's see if I can get that in the camera. Fold it up. And you can see it'll stick on there. And then you're going to roll it like you would a cinnamon roll perhaps, and take it over so that you have a nice amount of dough. Now, as I mentioned before, I'm on my non-stick mat. I usually use a sharp knife. I did that once before and I made a hole in it. So I'm just going to take a little butter knife. I dipped it in a little flour. So I can cut away this extra piece and not cut my mat. So I'm going to hold this extra piece because I can use that again for more. I'm going to give that a little roll just so that it seals a little bit, seals that end, push it down a little bit. And then I'm going to take and make a little pile of flour and put the edge of my hand in it. Again, Bubby Libby, and I'm sure she got this from Bubby Gittel or Bubby Rose. And I'm going to take my hand and push down, dip, push down all the way to the bottom, dip. So you can see if these are pretty big. I made these big. And then I'm going to take that butter knife and run it through so that it breaks the rest of the knish. Now, I'm going to put the bottom of the knish in the palm of my hand, and I'm going to take the top, and I'm just going to push down on it. I'm going to try to make sure the dough is sealed, or at least tucked in. And here we have a nice big potato knish, and that's going on the tray, and we're going to do the same thing with each one. Now, the more potato you put, now this one is not sealed, so I'm gonna try to pull it together a little bit, put it in the palm of my hand, and do the same thing. You just kind of smush it down, and we've got a nice big potato knish. If you don't want your knishes this big, like my next batch, I won't make this big. I'll put a little less potato in the next roll, because these are massive. This is a lunch all by itself. It would not be a complaint for me, because not only do I love making these, but I love eating them as well. Okay, so let's grab some dough. I'm just going to grab a hunk, and I'm going to take that piece, that extra piece, and roll it in there along with the dough that I just pulled off. For you bakers out there, if you have a better way of making this a little straighter, let me know. I'm always open to learning new tips and tricks with this. Again, I just do it the same way Bubby Libby did it. I figured if it worked for her and it worked for her mom or Zadie's mom, Bubby Rose, then it's going to work for me as well. So we'll make one more roll. And I don't use a wooden rolling pin. I bought this a long time ago. It's marble, so it has some weight to it. So it's, heavy to pick up, but I'm not having to put quite as much of my own muscle into the rolling. Okay, so this time I'm going to do it, and I'm not going to put quite so much potato in, so that they're, instead of a meal, maybe they would just be an hors d'oeuvre. So it depends on what you're doing, what you're using it for, how you want to serve it. When we set our table for the holidays, we always have so much that maybe those big ones that I made would be too big, unless you had someone special to share one with. And in that case, the big ones would work out. You can see the browned onion in here. Makes it so delicious. Okay, we're going to roll up that side. Roll up this side. Bring that back, up and over. Give it a little roll. Make sure it's tucked in so that at least that first one doesn't. You don't want the potato to fall out of the end. Okay. So you can see it's a lot smaller than these. It's a lot different. Take my hand, give it a little press, give it a little press. In my palm, give it a little push down, and it's all ready. Squish the bottom. It's a very professional word. Squish that bottom, put it in the palm of your hand, and give it a little press down. And you got your potato knish, and you see how quick and easy they go. Again, like the pierogan, you're going to bake these about 30-35 minutes. We're going to brush some vegetable oil on them so that they brown up and get crispy. And then our potato knishes will be done and ready to eat. Enjoy.